Hi, and welcome to another edition of That's Gross. I'm your host, Scott Gross, and today I'm joined by the Goffstown High School Student Council. I'd like to introduce them. First off, we have the treasurer, Maddie Smith, the co-president, Lauren Gross. Behind her is co-president Dee Etienne, and the vice president is Nick DeStaso. So welcome to the four of you to my show. I know I promised you guys we're going to be on this show for a long time, and we finally got it started. So don't be nervous. We're going to have a good time. So, one of the things that I was always curious as to, I never did, student council in my high school. But Lauren, we'll start off with you. Like, what kind of got you started? Why did you join student council in the first place?
Well, my sister, your daughter, was involved in student council, and so when I came here as a freshman, I wanted to get involved just like her, following in my big sister's footsteps. So I didn't join my freshman year because it was too late when I got here. I ended up joining my sophomore year, and I've been involved ever since.
All right, and Maddie, how about you?
I didn't join until my junior year, but I joined because throughout high school I saw all of my friends being involved, and I thought that it looked like a lot of fun, so I decided to join them.
All right, if you wouldn't mind passing that back to Nick. Okay. Nick, what about you?
Well, I wanted to get more involved, just like most people who join student council, and I always sort of saw myself as a leader, so I figured get on student council, and then you'll be viewed as a leader by everyone else.
All right. And Dee?
My story is not really as Cinderella. I was thinking about doing student council pretty much going through high school, or my freshman year especially, but one of my best friends was the position that I wanted to be, so I was like, okay, it's not for me. But I don't know. I got lucky and someone wasn't fit for student council, so they asked me to join, and it's kind of took off from there.
So Dee, what exactly, you're one of the co-presidents this year, what exactly does the student council do at Goffstown High School? Can you tell us some of the things that they do?
They do a lot. They do a lot, especially if you're not on a student council, you don't really know how much they do, but they do every event that you see put on student council, so like Winter Carnival, Homecoming, the canned food drive, student council is directly behind it. But they also do like a whole bunch of volunteer work that not a lot of people see. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work.
All right. If you want to pass that to Nick. Nick, I'm told that student councils, you guys get together. There are different student councils, I guess, in the state, and sometimes you guys get together. Have you had any experiences with that? Have you been to any of these meetings at all? Or?
Yeah, the only meeting I've been to, actually, I went to the end of the year spring convention at Pinkerton High School, where we actually won the Help Hungry Kids Award for doing a great job at the canned food drive for, I'm not sure what the number is, but we've won it for several years in a row now. So that was really rewarding. And it was a good experience, get to see a bunch of people from other student councils and realize that like this is big everywhere and not just at Goffstown.
All right, if you would pass that to Lauren. Lauren, I know that there's like a really big buzz right now going on at the high school, and I guess it's like homecoming, right? So what role does the student council play in like this whole homecoming celebration?
Student council is everything in homecoming. We put on the assembly. Each grade's student council puts on individual dances, and they get other kids from the grades to help put it on. We do events at the lunches. We choose all the dress-up days. We have a committee for homecoming. Me and Dee are actually the chair and co-chair for the homecoming committee, and we make a lot of executive decisions, get everyone in the school involved. It's a big thing. Student council is very proud to be a part of it.
All right, and as a parent, I kind of I lose hair and I lose sleep during homecoming and winter carnival and all these things because I see my kids getting like no sleep whatsoever. Lauren, while you have the microphone, like tell me about this dance. I mean, there's dances that each grade does, and that's part of it?
Yes, each grade puts on a dance at the assembly, so the freshmen, sophomore, junior, and seniors put on a dance, and there's usually a theme to the dance. So this year we had Dancing Through the Decades theme, so each grade shows a different decade. The seniors are the 2000s, early 2000s. And
who has the 80s? Anyone?
The juniors.
No one? The juniors have the 80s. So
the 80s.
Someone like me, I could give them dance tips?
You could if you
okay,
wanted to.
if I wanted to give dance tips, I could.
Yes.
Okay. And what do the seniors have?
We have the 2000s.
You have the 2000s.
Yes, so the throwback songs for us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Maddie, one of the questions that I have is I know that you guys don't do all this student council stuff on your own. I mean, you have teachers or advisors. Who are your advisors for the student council, and how do they help you guys and prepare you guys for all the events that you plan?
Okay, so we have two main advisors, and that's Senor Fitzpatrick and Senor McKinnon, and they are part of the full council. So they're there for everything. They're at all of our meetings, committee meetings, full council meetings. They're at all of the events, and then we all have class advisors.
So do you have to speak Spanish to be an advisor, or how does that
No.
work? Is that just coincidental?
That's
or?
just a coincidence.
Okay,
yeah.
so I was just curious by that. Okay.
And then we also have class advisors. So our two class advisors are Senor Williams, another coincidence.
Another.
And Miss Brown. She's not a Spanish teacher. And they help with more of our class events. So things like fundraising. They help put on our dance, things like that. So they're very involved. I don't think student council would run the way that it does without them.
All right, so Nick was mentioning, you did mention fundraising, and Nick was mentioning this canned food drive, and I've seen this in action for many, many years. Can you tell the audience a little bit about the canned food drive and all the energy that really takes place in the school during that time?
Yeah, it's great. So it goes on for about 2 weeks, and how we get kids to participate is we make it a competition. Like Dee mentioned, one of our big events is Winter Carnival, so the class that brings in the most cans gets Winter Carnival points, and it really helps to give them an advantage. And then how we do the point system is every day of the week we have a different food. So like one day it's pasta and sauce, for example, and if you bring in one of those items, then you get 2 points, and if you just bring in a different can, you get 1 point. So that's how we really get what the soup kitchens are looking for, and that's how we get all of the grades to participate.
Oh, great. If you can pass the microphone to Dee. Dee, I know that Nick mentioned this before. He was talking about leadership skills. What type of leadership skills have you gotten from being a part of student council?
I've definitely learned so much being on student council. Like Nick said, I saw myself as kind of a leader beforehand, but student council places you in an environment where you really need to step up. Because, for instance, Lauren and I are co-presidents, so we have the job of leading the meetings. We all do, actually. So we're in charge of making an agenda, planning out what the meetings are going to look like, just being in charge of everyone and really running the meeting.
So I've heard about these meetings, Dee.
Yeah.
And I've heard a little bit about this whole thing of trying to get the students engaged. So you're the leader, right?
Yeah.
So you sing me a song or something, and then I have to sing it back to you?
This year we're all pretty close. So this year we're going for something
Could you try that with me?
a lot more casual.
And I'll try it.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
What song? What's a good
Well,
song?
if you were trying to get me energized in terms of a student council meeting, let's make believe we're having one right now, and I'm some
All right.
freshman or something, and I want to be impressed or something. I don't know.
All right. So, how we would start? We tried this at the first meeting. We tried just singing them lyrics and had them
Because
sing it back.
I can sing decently, I think.
I believe you.
Okay.
But we'd probably tell you the lyrics beforehand, so we got it right.
Okay.
All right. So maybe we'll just do the last one we had.
Because you were I know that before we started this, Dee was singing to "Don't Stop Believin'" by Journey, and he was doing a pretty good job. So I don't know if you're gonna spring that one on me. I can handle that, but although I don't have that high falsetto voice, but so show me how you would try to get everybody.
All right. So
going.
we get your attention by clapping. But I won't clap them. Oh, okay. Yep.
Okay.
Well, not
Well,
quite like that.
Yeah. We'd stop.
Oh, it has to. Okay.
Yeah, just to get your attention.
Okay.
And then, so just to be something like, all right, guys, get ready. Just a city boy.
Just a city boy.
No. You go.
Oh,
you
you
sing
told
the
me
next
that I
line.
had to read.
The
Oh,
next
I
line,
thought
the
I had to do
next
the
line.
same thing.
The next line.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's it's almost like I call and you answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think probably the audience maybe didn't appreciate my voice. So
I liked
we'll
it.
probably go to Nick for the next question. So, so Nick, you mentioned a lot about the leadership skills too. What have you gotten out of being part of the student council?
Well, I feel like people probably, look to me, not just me, but I guess the whole exec board, but yeah, to see for the dance, when are we starting practices? When you're supposed to basically know everything that's going on in the school. So you're someone that they ask, and you're someone that they look to as a leader and as a guide, I guess you could say, for lack of better terms, through what's going on around the school.
Now, how did you learn? So is it safe to say that they were when you were a junior last year, the seniors kind of took you under their wing? How does that work, Nick?
Well, for me, I guess, because I've been on it all 4 years, so it was just experience. And freshman year, I was nervous as I could be, and I didn't do any committees or anything. Like, I may have done one, but now it's just like, now that I'm on exec board, it's a lot more open. So you just learn from like experience. You get to like build relationships with people in like the upper classes, and you just learn from experience and try to just follow the lead of great leaders like before us.
Right. If you can pass it back to Maddie. So I know that you guys do the canned food drive. What are some of the other ones that were touched upon before? I'd like to try to go into a little more detail in terms of what are the other things that Student Council does.
Okay, so around Veterans Day, we have a big Veterans Day assembly.
Okay,
and
so let's start with that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's really great because we get veterans from all over the area, and they come, and other student council members give short speeches kind of about what they do. We give them a present. It's really nice to acknowledge them in the community, and the rest of the school comes down, and they get to pay their respects and everything. We have the 2 main events, Homecoming and Winter Carnival, the canned food drive, like we said.
Do you guys get involved in any type of like the prom? Who does that?
That is the junior class every year, so
So it's a student council.
it is student council.
Sponsored, but the
yeah.
junior class. So
Yeah.
what exactly? So you did that last year.
Yes.
So tell us about that experience.
Okay, it was very stressful because we have our prom at the Radisson in Manchester, so we needed to contact them, we needed to book the spot, we needed to order food and everything, and then we had to work within the school. Like, we needed to sell tickets, and we needed to get decorations and all of that, and we really had to think about everything that went into it, and we had to do it all by ourselves.
Wow. If you could pass this to Lauren. So Lauren, it sounds like being a member of student council, you got to really be juggling a lot of balls in the air at the same time. I mean, how do you kind of balance, the job of being on student council and all that you have to do there with your schoolwork and other things like a job, or if you have one?
It can be difficult to balance everything at once. I mean, I do have a job, I have a lot of schoolwork, and being part of student council, I try to keep a planner. Sometimes doesn't work as well as I try. I don't know, it's a lot of just like, you have to do it, so you want to get it done, and you're excited to be part of something as great as student council, so you look forward to doing it. I mean, I look forward to doing the homecoming dance and getting involved in all of our assemblies, so that's something that's like on top of my priority list. I mean, not before my grades, of course. So I don't know, I just make time to fit in all of my different responsibilities. If it's something you really want, you've got to work for it.
All right. If you could pass it back to Dee, I'm going to kind of wrap it up with some final questions. So Dee, the experience that you've had at student council, has that kind of taught you any lessons or that you might take with you as you're going on to college?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to say, like, student council is ridiculously rewarding. It'll teach you so much, Besides just being in charge and becoming like a better leader, I've also learned like what it means to work with everybody. You have a bunch of different people on student council because you have like freshmen who aren't as experienced as the seniors. You have sophomores who have been there, kind of know the game. It's just working with everyone, making sure everyone understands, and I've definitely just learned so much on student council that I wouldn't have learned anywhere else.
So as a follow-up, is it fair enough to say that whenever you have a large group of people that not everybody kind of agrees on what you're going to do, and fair enough, right?
I think that would be an understatement.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how do you deal with that? Like when somebody, have different divergent, opinions on how you're going to handle something.
It's definitely a learning experience. Like, I know, just pulling from homecoming, and since that's coming up, we have a very opinionated student council, I would say, probably for the seniors, and we definitely get in a lot of fights.
I think
a
you
lot
might
of
be right
debates.
because they're smiling in the front row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we found it best to just kind of put it all on the table. You don't want to hold anything back. And I mean, not to say that like, oh, you should go straight into fights or anything, but if you have something on your mind, definitely say it and speak up, because anything just like under the table will just boil under and just make it worse. So that's what we found best works for us.
All right. And Nick, what about you? I mean, what lessons have you learned from student council that you think you're going to take with you into the future?
It's sort of similar to D in that, like, I guess, like, compromise, like you said, like, in our class, that's sort of, like, one of the biggest ones that sticks out of my mind. It's just, like, you have to work, like, with other people in our student council, like, just in our class, like, for Homecoming, Winter Carnival, like you said, we're all, like, have very strong personalities, and we all have very different ideas. So, like, you gotta, like, put your ego aside, and you have to, like, work together to see what makes the best product in the end. And that's what we've tried to do, and that's what we're going to try to do again, like one last time this year. So just compromise and like realizing that your idea isn't like necessarily the best idea that like there could be.
All right. And Maddie, I know that want the microphone now? So I know that you've got college applications. All of you guys have college applications on the horizon. And I don't know, Nick, you don't have to say any comments, but I think Nick has to work on his application. So now you can add to your college application that you've been on a television show. Is that something that you think you might do, and you could put on your application, I was a guest on That's Gross? Would you do that? Or
Of
for
course
me?
I would do that. Yeah.
That's all I needed to know,
Okay.
and now it's on video, and when it goes onto YouTube, then there's proof of that. But so same thing with you. I mean, obviously you've had a good career so far at Goffstown High School, but it's going to come to an end next year, sadly. What about student council for you? What was the most important lesson that you've learned?
I think I would have to agree with those two, but I also think that organization is very important. It's difficult to manage all of our meetings along with schoolwork and outside activities. And then for me especially, I'm the treasurer, so I need to manage all of the money that goes in and out of student council.
So that's the dues, right?
Dues,
is that class
yeah,
dues
and
or
then
no? You don't really you don't deal with that, or
that's
no?
our class treasurer's job. That's not my job.
Okay,
What
so
I help manage the vending machines. Whenever student council as a whole makes a deposit or a withdrawal, I'm in charge of that.
Okay.
So just making sure that I'm on top of that and keeping that organized is very important. And I definitely think that I will bring that with me to college when I have a lot of responsibilities as well.
All right. And let's wrap it up with you, Lauren. What was one of the most important lessons or things that you've learned from participating in student council?
I think it's just all the leadership skills that I've gained. I now know how to run things without being seen as a dictator, how to do
He is
things.
shaking his head. No, we can.
I don't know. I now know how to get things done on time, because we do have deadlines in student council. It's not just like willy-nilly. We have to do things. I have learned organization skills. Hopefully I will improve those by the time I go to college. But I don't know, student council just overall has been a great impact on my life.
All right. Well, I want to thank the four of you. I know that you work very hard at student council at Goffstown High School, and you guys do a great job, and so have all the other folks that are part of it. I mean, Goffstown High School, and I've said this on my show in the past, it's a very special place, and you might not know it because you're kind of in the middle of it, but it's a very strong community here, and I think that's because you do things like a Veterans Day celebration and a canned food drive, and you're very, very active in the community, and that means a lot, to the Goffstown communities. It is a community that's full of volunteers. So again, I want to thank the four of you. I want to wish you the best of luck this year, and I hope you have a really good homecoming. And I have one request, and that is make sure you guys get some sleep. All right. So again, I want to thank the Goffstown High School Student Council. And I look forward to another episode in the future of That's Gross. Take care, folks.